What is circuit bending? Circuit bending is the act of opening up any sound making like electronic device. More commonly, a lot of people use like children's toys and stuff like that, but you can do it with keyboard, drum machines, anything that works on like analog sound making technology. And it's the act of physically opening up the device and whatever it is, and connecting points on the circuit that were initially never intended to be connected, um, in hopes and oftentimes resulting in interesting sonic events. Hi, my name is Ronnie Rose, though I release under the moniker The Battery Davis, and I'm also part of a group called Dotted Fields, and I'm a circuit bender. I mean, circuit bending as like a subculture has been around for like well over 30 years now, and I thought it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen, but it seemed really difficult. Like the idea of opening up something and like touching the circuitry and like changing it seemed like this foreboding land of knowledge that I just didn't think I would ever be able to grasp. How I got really started was I bought this book. It was by Nicholas Collins, and it's like a series of projects to give someone who's not trained in like electronics and electronic theory, a basic understanding of how this stuff works. And one of the projects in there was to circuit bend something. And I decided I was going to do every single project all the way to the end. And I haven't finished because I got to circuit bending and I just haven't stopped bending since then or done any other electronic projects. I don't know, it just hooked me. I mean, for so long I found it to be so interesting, but then when I actually did it, it was much less scary than I initially thought, and it kind of has this, at least for me, it gives this feeling of like this like childhood wonderment. Like you're opening up these toys and you're touching aspects of the circuitry and you're creating these sonic happenings that were never meant to occur before. And something about doing that, like one, I mean, you're like a kid, you're like busting open your toys and you're like, what are these crazy sounds that are coming out of it? But it's kind of this magical thing when you like hit 2 points and suddenly something happens and you just like snap your head back and you're like, what was that? And it's just this like one little moment that you got to have with that like piece of circuitry. But it's I don't know, I think that's what hooked me, is trying to find these little happy accidents. Like I really like the idea of taking something that's intended to doing something and misappropriating that technology for your own means. And that's what circuit bending at its core is all about. This is the first bend that I ever did. I ran a line out jack so I could plug it in, and then all I did was removed one resistor that controlled the pitch and tempo and attached it to a photocell and to a pan pot and put a switch in between the two so I could like, yeah. So you turn the switch, it just gets higher or lower. But then you flip the switch the other way and you're using a photocell, which is, it's a variable resistor. It works the same way as like a pan pot does, but the level of resistance is controlled by the amount of light that it's being exposed to. So both for sentimental reasons and for its visceral value. The turtle is the shit. Okay, so this is my DD20 that I bent. Basically, what I added to it is two different switches that can affect the pitch of it without affecting the tempo or anything. Like this little variable distortion switch. So I turn it on, and then depending on how much I turn that knob, it's going to affect how much that sound happens. But what's interesting is as the rhythm's going, that sound actually starts to become part of the rhythmical element. And then all these switches on the side actually affect, like, that's what it normally sounds like. You hit this, it always. So that's like basic generic hip hop beat number 15. This is the newest thing I got. I actually just picked this up, and then right in there you have your circuit. So usually what I do when I'm bending, like I just picked like a beat or like one of the preset rhythms. If it has a demo, you can hit that. You just want to get any sound that's just going to continuously loop, and then here's where the long trial and error part happens. So if you're first starting out, that's why it's always good to pick a small circuit, because like something this long can take you forever. Because basically what you have to do is you have to go through and like touch somewhere. The painstaking part is like in theory, every point that you start with, you should touch every other point on the board before you go anywhere else, because you never know what thing is going to work. Other things that you can do are literally like it's less graceful, but we'll get that beat going in. Lick your fingers and start touching stuff. Just like sometimes you'll hit it and it won't make any sound. None of the keys are working, none of the buttons are working. You have to flip it over and pull the batteries out and restart the whole circuit. Just be prudent, and fun things will come into fruition.